Hi guys, 4Tutor here. Today let's talk about how to show that you have something in Spanish. There are two different ways. Actually, there are three, but I don't like the third way, so I'm not going to put it. I'll just briefly talk about it later. Well, if you are watching this video, that means you have a phone or a TV or whatever, a computer. There are many different ways to show that you have something in Spanish. The first way is to use the verb tener. I'll explain this verb later. It's an interesting verb. And the second way is to use possessive pronouns. I'm just going to briefly say the third way. It's to use de, but I don't like it because it's overly long. I'll explain it after I explain possessive pronouns. The first way is to use the verb tener. It's an interesting verb because it's both irregular and stem changing. What? Okay, I'll explain. Don't worry, just chill. Its yo form actually has a go instead of an o. Instead of being teno or tieno, if you would change its stem, it's tengo. Its stem doesn't change in the yo form, which is an interesting characteristic of tener. However, its stem normally changes from e to ie in this case, besides the yo form, where it doesn't change. So, for example, in its tu, el ea, in tu form would be tienes, in its usted form would be tiene, and in its ustedes form it would be tienen. You could use it in a sentence like these. All of them are written in the yo form. Yo tengo un libro. Yo tengo unos libros. Of course, you can use any verb besides libro. I just threw libro in because that was the first thing I was thinking about. And yo tengo una galleta. Yo tengo unas galletas. Galleta means cookie. Okay, I wrote this because I was a little hungry. Well, there, you can see the presence of this little funny two-letter word, or three, or four, whatever. This word called un is used to say a book instead of saying yo tengo el libro, which doesn't work. I have the book. You would say I have a book. Yo tengo un libro. It actually changes as well based on gender and based on number. Since it doesn't end in a vowel or doesn't end in o, you would just add an a to it to make it feminine. Because galleta is a feminine noun, you would use una instead of un. It also changes the number. So if it was a plural masculine noun, like in this case libros, you could add an os to the un and make it unos. It works the same way. You can just make it plural for feminine. So if it's galletas, you would say unas. You can throw any other verb in there. So, for example, yo tengo una computadora, which means I have a computer. The second way is to use possessive pronouns, which mean like my book, your book, or whatever. You need to use ser for this. That's an important part of this. Ser is always used for possession. So for the possessive pronouns, there are many different ones. So for the yo form, it would be the mi. For the tu form, it would be tu, without any accent. The reason It's basically the difference between L with an accent and L without an accent. They're both pronounced the same since there's only one syllable in those words. But when you write it down, it makes a big difference. For example, if you write tu with an accent, it means you. Without an accent, it would mean your. For el, ella, usted, it would also be su. It would be su. For nosotros, it would be nuestro or nuestra. Vosotros, it would be vuestro or vuestra. And ellos, ellas, ustedes, it would be su, which is actually the same as the el, ella, usted form. However, they act like adjectives in the fact that they change in number and gender. Like, for example, mi perro versus mis perros. Notice how the mi is being made plural. It has a further impact on the nosotros and vosotros forms because they end in o. You could You need to make them feminine if they're a feminine noun, like for example, la casa, which is the house. Instead of saying nuestro casa, or you would say nuestra casa you would make it feminine. Just like that, it also changes in number. So nuestras casas instead of nuestra casas, like this. Here's an example sentence using the tu form, like this. Son tus perros. So first you have the verb ser. I mean, you don't have to put the verb, or you could say like Bob es tu perro by having a subject. Then you would use the possessive pronoun, which is tus in this case, and then perros, which is the object. because, well, you have dogs. To test your knowledge, I'm gonna give you guys a quick 5 question quiz. It's not gonna be as long. So I encourage you to pause the video right now and answer all these questions. Conjugate tener in each of these first 3 sentences. Yo blank un libro, tú blank una casa, nosotros blank unas galletas, which again is cookies. And for the fourth and fifth question, fill in the blank with the correct possessive adjective or noun. Okay, hold on, let me do things. With the correct possessive noun. I don't know what my brain has like stopped working. Son blank casas with the nosotros possessive, and for the last one, it's es blank perro, which you would use usted. Oh wait, I'm gonna briefly talk about the third one, which is actually to use de. For example, el perro de mi or de tú. So you could say the dog of you or something like that. I would basically only use this if you have an ellos usted versus el usted, since they have the exact same possessive pronoun. So instead of saying like el perro de Mr. Parik, you would say el perro de sen de. I'm trying to think of one or whatever la usted thing. I'm not gonna think of one. My brain has just stopped working. I'm gonna show you guys the answers now. The first question, the answer is tengo because you have yo blank. The second question and third question are similar. For the second question, it's tienes, since again the whole stem changing thing. And then the third question, since I put nosotros, its stem does not change. You would use tenemos. And for the fourth question, the answer is nuestras, since you have a feminine plural noun, casas in this case. And for the last question, it's es blank pero, the answer is su. This is because I said usted here, which means you want to use su, because, well, it's only one dog. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to me and my brain stop working. Well, in the future video, I'm actually going to talk about more uses of the verb tener, such as expressing if you're like sleepy or tired or hungry, and also to show that you have to do something. I feel like tener is like a really, really interesting verb, and it has a lot of use cases. So, well, I'm just gonna give it out to you. I'm gonna do that stuff with tener, the more interesting stuff. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content, and email us using the link in the description. Well, before I end this, I'm going to announce something big. 4Tutor, which is the organization I work for, and STEMist, which is another organization in the Bay Area, are trying to negotiate a partnership. STEMist is an organization catered for STEM education for people of grades 4 through 8. So I'll leave their Instagram and LinkedIn profile in the description as well, so you can view those if you want to. Well, I guess that's it for today. Thank you guys, and like and subscribe for